After 31 years together, Kay finds herself in a loveless marriage.
I think we better stop.
So she forces her husband Arnold to join her in seeing a famous therapist in hopes of saving their relationship.
It's not impossible, and it's not too late.
The flight leaves tomorrow. I'm gonna be on it.
I hope you're happy.
Together, they rediscover why they first fell in love in Hope Springs.
Hi, thank you for joining us. I'm Leah.
I'm Sean.
And I'm David, and we're here today to talk about the new movie from Meryl Streep and Tommy Lee Jones, Hope Springs. We've all just seen it. Sean, take it away.
I think the writing is pretty decent here. It's written to the main characters.
Absolutely.
Of course, Tommy Lee Jones and Meryl Streep, if you're going to put them in a movie, you're going to give them pretty good roles, or at least you're going to try. It's 2/3 of a pretty well-written movie.
Why?
In the ending of the movie, I don't want to give too much away, but it's lacking. It's uninteresting. It's uninspired. It's basically Hollywoodized when it shouldn't have been.
The credited screenwriter is a woman named Vanessa Taylor, who appears to be a very intelligent, creative person. She's worked on a lot of television. She worked on Game of Thrones, and she worked on Alias, and in a producer's capacity on these shows, and many, many others. And it seems like this is her first feature film, and it really shows. The dialogue is really just kind of uninspired. I feel like the bar scene is one of those moments where it doesn't live up to the talent that is in this movie.
Join the club, honey. Who in here is not having sex?
I'm not.
For me, those are all kind of big lapses in the writing that should be there.
Okay, so I have to disagree with you a little bit.
Okay.
A lot of the dialogue is based on this uncomfortable situation where they have to talk about their most intimate sexual experiences, their sexual history. And for me, that made me squirm like much of the audience did. And it was also something unusual to see people in their 60s, which we don't normally see in feature films, talking about sex.
But I do agree with you also that thematically seeing this middle-aged couple.
Middle-aged?
Yes.
Really? In their
Yes.
60s? Okay,
Yes.
middle-aged.
Middle-aged couple, anybody over 40. Middle-aged, seeing this couple in all of their kind of ugliness.
Right,
and
warts and all.
Warts and all, struggling with intimacy and sex.
We're doing so well, we might be able to get out of here early. Okay,
well.
next step. What is it? Write a poem, hold hands in public, sing a serenade.
Sex.
We should just get our things and go.
I'm somewhere in the middle with the dialogue. I think that Vanessa Taylor writes what I'd call the meaty scenes, the scenes that are set inside of this therapist's office played by Steve Carell. I think she writes those quite well, and I do think there's a lot of dynamics that are given to the actors to play with that they do a very good job with. I just think that, yeah, when she gets outside of that and she basically seems to have to fill in a plot within it, it almost should have been like the vagina monologues or something. It should have been just set in the therapist's office,
Yes.
and it would have been a really good play.
I agree.
And you know, it's probably a good time to talk about Meryl and Tommy Lee Jones, because for me personally, I think in the hands of less experienced actors, this story and this script just simply wouldn't work.
Right.
And I was actually quite amazed by the complete lack of vanity that these two actors have in bringing their characters to life. The lack of makeup or hair or wardrobe.
Right.
I have never seen Meryl look this old and haggard in my life. And so I immediately...
Even in those old scenes in The Iron Lady, even when she was supposed to play 30 years older,
Right, she still looked really great as Maggie Thatcher in her 80s than she looked in this movie. That's a really good point. Even though it's Kay that sets off this story, it's Arnold, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who really has the character arc in this movie. He's a very different person at the end than he is at the beginning.
Tommy Lee Jones, for me, he just really stood out as this craggy-faced curmudgeon.
Huh, Arnold?
So what did you guys get each other?
Yeah, 31. What gift is that? Silver, ivory?
Oh, we got each other the new cable subscription.
Oh, great.
And he was just so obtuse, you know, didn't notice and almost didn't really care what was going on in their relationship.
Men in Black 3 earlier this summer, it felt like he didn't want to be in that movie. This one, he really brings it, and I just think he's great in the movie. And when it starts out, you're sort of going, oh, he's playing the older curmudgeonly guy. What a stretch for Tommy Lee Jones. But then in these therapy sessions, you really get under the surface of this guy, and he really shows almost a side I don't think I've seen him do on screen before.
Kay and Arnold, I'm so glad you're here.
Well, that makes one of us.
I think the rest of the roles are inhabited by really thankless cameos,
just
basically.
toss-offs.
I mean, Elizabeth Shue, I like Elizabeth Shue, but she's in probably the most unnecessary scene I've seen in a movie in a long time. There's no reason for that scene to be in the movie.
Which came back to what you were saying earlier, that when we're not with the therapist,
Right.
it's like filler.
There's a lot going on in this movie that will make audiences uncomfortable.
Clearly.
Older audiences, younger audiences. There was a moment where there was some oral sex going on, and for me, it turned into a horror film at that moment.
And I like what David Frankel did with the directing and the balancing of the tone in this movie, because I don't think it's really a romantic comedy, and I also don't think it's really a romantic drama. It's something in the middle, and he does a good job of balancing that.
But he quite luckily continues to work with A-list talent. So I would really question what will happen if he's got to work with some new, fresh, young faces.
Right.
I mean, he shoots everything in the most straightforward way possible. The opening shot is of the exterior of a house. Which is like if you go to film school, you know, you're supposed to do something with your
Right.
opening shot. It's important. The opening shot, the closing shot. Don't do an exterior of a house. I think it's nice to know that there's a movie out there for an older demographic. It's just frustrating to think that it could have been done a lot better. So I'm going to give it a stream it.
I, too, was very happy to see a movie with middle-aged people dealing with intimacy and sex issues, and it felt very authentic. But I just wish the overall execution had been better, so I'm going to say stream it.
It would be really easy for me to give this a stream it, but I just think it'll be lost if you watch it at home. It's worthy of going to see it in the theater for the performances. I give it a see it.
Well, it looks like our votes add up to 2 tickets, which is a stream it for Hope Springs.
I'm good with that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm just not, that's not me. I just can't do that.
I just wanted it to have a little more bounce.